Yes, a little bowl which has been painted. It's been dark painted, as you can see, both on the inside and the outside. It has this flat base. It's early Atlantic 2. And there are lots of these little balls. Perhaps not very, I don't know, pretty, but also a rim of one of these bowls that we have the base of here. They are usually they're called saucers, and they're usually also quite standardized. They're painted red or black usually, or brown, and they're ever so easy to identify in an excavation. And among them, a shard collection like this, and they're usually this size, between 8 and 12 centimeters or so. And they are so common that you start to wonder what were they used for. And I think they have, the idea is that they have been used to both for liquid to drink, and because they're quite easy to hold, or to have porridge in. I mean, it could be either some fluid or some more substantial food. But I would say the most common probably vessel type during the early Bronze Age 2 period. Here is also something from, I might have this piece. It's later, it's early Bronze 3 again, like with the rope pattern you had on that piece from the case. And it's patterned, which is quite extraordinary for this period. Usually they're monochrome. The whole vessel has been painted, or they're plain. But occasionally you will find patterned ware like this, and then they have little stripes and these little things that go on the side here, and here you have again stripes, diagonal stripes, and there is a whole typology of this made up. Also, again, they have found a lot of this material at Lerna in Argolid, and the man who's published this has made a very complicated set of typology. What it boils down to is that he thinks that this is imitations of basketry, of vessels that they have, also, what do you call it in English? I think baskets, you
yes,
know.
to collect fruits.
Yes, right, woven things. Korgar.
Yes,
What do you call it? Wicketry? No, I'm not sure the
Du
English
menar
term.
korgflät?
Ja, flätade saker. Ja, att detta är imitationer av själva
You have the
tekniken.
same phenomenon from Cyprus.
In those days when Holmberg excavated, and there are more pieces here, and like this, you see.
A moment.
This is it has lost its shape altogether, but they are quite coarse pottery, and they started towards the end of the early Bronze Age, and then they make it during the Middle Bronze Age, and they're quite unnice, if you put it that way. And they're called Adriatic ware in older literature. Nowadays, the tendency is to have a more, what should I say, specific name on pottery that denotes the technique. So I think they're called incised coarse ware or something like that nowadays. And the idea is that this is a pottery that reflects that people from further up on the western side of the Adriatic, further up in what's it today?
Albania, Illyria, and
yes, north
Epirus, and
exactly, came down to the Peloponnese, and it could very well be that this is a sign of that, new people coming in spilling into the Peloponnese towards the end of the early Bronze Age, and then making this kind of quite ugly-looking pottery, quite coarse. Also black minion, but rather worn. This is more black, as you can see. And that denotes pottery, which is very typical of the Middle Bronze Age. They have these incisions, large festoons that hang on the shoulders of vessels, large cantharoi with two handles coming up, and then you have the rim. With these, you see these incisions. They call them festoons, like bands hanging, like little chains on the bodies of the just as a decoration. Quite distinct and quite easy to identify. Ägina.
From Ägina.
Yes, they have. Usually, they have a red slip, a very distinctive red, hard red paint on this from Ägina. But this might be a worn piece, I think, where the surface is gone. Shards that remain on the surface. Here you see a beautiful grey. You see the grey, so-called grey minion, the mid-bronze. But usually shards that stay on the surface and are turned over and over again by people harvesting or tending to the land and farmers. They get very worn, abraded, distorted. Not much remains. So
Probably
this is
only in graves and so on.
Exactly, and when you have an excavation, then you come down into material that has not been, on the surface, and then they are preserved like this. But if we might have found lots of this on the surface in the survey, but we can't identify it because all what used to be there, which we could date, is gone. And it's only the hardcore hull. I always mix this up with Louis, but this is a spindle whorl. They call it a biconical because it's it's shaped like a cone, the two cones put together. Should I? And I think it's been. Is it so, Maria? You have to correct me if I'm wrong. That there's been somehow they've used it as a way to, in the process of making, what is it, thread?
Spinning.
Yeah, spinning.
Yeah, probably.
And textile.
In textile production, yes.
They
I
had a
looked
pin,
into that.
wooden.
This we don't know what it is. Yes.
It might, it has no provenience, but